Awesome. So we've just getting onto Facebook Live here. And I've got my friends John and Julianne. We're waiting for a few folks to join us. So just hang in there, guys. Say hi as people start to join us on Facebook. So we're just going to say welcome. So we're joining here on Facebook Live. Just give a few minutes for some folks to join us. And if you're joining us on Facebook Live, give us some likes and some love if you're there, or say hello in the comment section, so we know that we've got some folks joining us here. Welcome, welcome. Here we go. Hi, Jocelyn. All right, we're starting to get some energy here, so we're just going to hang on a few more moments. Welcome, everyone, on Facebook Live. I'm Medium Lauren Rainbow. And if you're there, send us some likes, hit that like or the hearts, or say hello in the comment section. So I know we've got some folks there. I see some people popping in. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Facebook Live. We're just going to take a few more moments here. Say hello in the comments. I see we have a Jocelyn there. I see some people. Oh, something I told you, Jocelyn, might be coming true. Said, oh, Karen Rockland. Welcome, Karen.
Hi.
Wow, we've got some folks. Hi, Ed. Welcome, everybody. Now that we've got a few folks here on Facebook Live, I'm excited to join you. Don't mind me. I'm kind of here at Moth and Moon in the closet. But I've got my good friends, John Mercede and Julianne Santini, joining me here today. Say hi, guys.
Hi from Colorado. Sunny Colorado.
We've got folks joining in from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome, welcome. Angelique, welcome. Hello, everybody. We're super excited to be here for a little bit on Facebook Live, and I've asked my friends, John Mercede and Julianne Santini, to join me, and we're going to talk today a little bit about sacred journeying, something that all of us, I know, find deep in our hearts a very awesome experience, and that we've done some sacred journeys. We're also going to talk a little bit about a sacred journey that we have coming up this October to Egypt, a place that's near and dear to my heart, and I know is calling John and Julianne there. Hello, everyone. We're seeing some people. Welcome, welcome. And we have a few spots left for Egypt, but we thought we'd share a little bit about with you guys the art of sacred pilgrimage and journeying, and why we love these sacred sites, and the power and the changes that can happen in your lives from being there. But first, I'd like to take a moment to welcome John and Julianne. And I'm going to ask them to tell us a little bit about who they are and their work of Profound Life Wellness. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys for a minute, John and Julianne. Say hello and tell us a little bit about your work.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Good evening, perhaps.
Yeah, do you want me to jump in?
Sure, jump right in, Julianne.
So my name is Julianne Santini, and I've known Lauren for, Lauren, is it 15 or 16 years now? And I've known John. I've known John Mercede for about 17 or 18 years. And so we've all played in this field of energy and healing in one way or another. Who am I? What do I do? Somebody just described me as a coach and cheerleader, all rolled up into one. So my passion is healing. I started as a nurse way back in '92. And then for the last probably 20 years, it's been, what is healing? You know, who am I? What is healing? And those questions have really taken me into energy therapies, energy medicine, and been there for 20 years, teaching since about 2002. I would say my biggest joy, and probably one of our biggest joys, is creating sacred space and creating space for private sessions and for workshops and classes and sacred travel. I love helping people with their healing journey, whatever that is for them and whatever it is for you. So for some people, it's vitality and wellness, or a sense of emotional wellness. And for other people, it's wanting success and fulfillment. So I love meeting them on the path, wherever they are and wherever they'd like to go. And I'm there with them. And my journey and our journey has brought us to Colorado. So I've been here now almost 3 years. And John and I opened a practice together about 2 years ago, Profound Life Wellness.
Yeah.
Hop in.
So Profound Life Wellness, we would say that we have this unique mission, and it's to create this wave of transformation that goes across not only the United States, but across the whole world. And the way we're doing that, as Julianne said, we work in the professional field of transformation, and what that looks like for every person is a little bit different. But we work with the science of spirituality. We work with meditation. We work with coaching. I like to consider myself somebody that opens the door for people. I say that my gift to people is access, not to access to me, but to access to themselves and what they can open for themselves by showing them that, hey, there's a secret door to your life that you can get to if you just go through here. And that here might be a relationship. It might be a job. It might be a sacred journey, right? So
yes,
one of the things
yes.
yeah, absolutely. And so we're excited about, sharing in our business sacred travel with Lauren, because Lauren is just this fabulous woman to work with. And we had a blast when we went to Mexico together, the three of us last year. And so we just continue to find ways to bring people to sacred places, to open that door for themselves, to gain access to a new way of being in life, a new expression in life, something like that.
Beautiful.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for sharing. And one of the big things that we wanted to talk about today is exactly what we are, is sacred travel. And like John and Julianne had said, like we've journeyed together to Teo. We've actually both, the three of us have been in Teotihuacan, Mexico twice. Once as a journey that we were participating in, and once in our own where we brought others to bring transformational healing. And I know I have been brought to many places, including Egypt and India. And I know that Julianne and John are also well-traveled. John, Julianne, tell me a little bit about what you find to be a benefit in sacred travel. What has transformed, or any little tidbits that you want to share about some of your experiences in sacred travel and how it's changed your life?
Sure. You want to go first? Or you want me to take this one on first?
You take this one on first.
So when I look at my life, I notice that every time that I go someplace, and it could be a coffee shop, or it could be, Allahabad, India, there's an energy, there's a power to that place that I arrive in. And the great thing, and I'm sure that everybody on this call has experienced that, where you go someplace and suddenly you feel something, right? It's something the way it touches your heart, your mind, or even your body. And the great thing about it is when you're in those sacred places, and that sacred place could be the coffee shop, but in this case, we're talking Egypt. When you're in those sacred places, something is present for you. And there's nothing you really need to do other than to be with it in a way that you've not been before. So it's a power. There's maybe a gift in that place. There might be something going on, and your body, your mind, your heart will change in response to that environment. And you may not notice it at first. I'm thinking back to when I went to India for the first time, and I have to say that my physical body had some issues in India when I was there. But when I learned in India, but I learned about myself in India, that I could access this place of profound peace. And it happened for me one day just by simply touching one of the gurus that was there. And this power of peace came through me in such a profound way that didn't leave for 2 days after that. I did nothing to generate that peace for myself. I just merely stepped into it by being in that place, the right place at the right time, to have that impulse. I like to consider these things impulses that we receive from places, right? It's an impulse that maybe just taps you a little bit and changes the direction. If you were a spinning top on the kitchen table and you were in one spot, someone gave you a little tiny impulse, you would go in a new trajectory and you would move pretty quickly in that direction. And suddenly you would be spinning there. So that's what I look at in my life, what Sacred Journey's done. It's given me the impulse to suddenly be in a new place and experience life profoundly different without necessarily doing anything but showing up. Does that make sense?
It does. There's always a gift in every new sacred location that we journey to. But I think, like, across the board, what it gives is it allows you to step out of the ordinary everyday routine. You know, one of the things people say, how are you? And our first response is busy, right? And we're so, whether it's our work and we love all this and family, et cetera. And when we're busy and we have these schedules that are packed full, we tend to go from activity to activity to activity, and we aren't really present with our state of being. Who are we in that moment? And I would say that traveling to a place that you've never been before or that you're not there often gives you fresh eyes. It allows you to see something new beyond your own like limited world or the world at large that we live in, but to the greater expansiveness. And that really allows you to connect to the interconnectedness. What's the same about all of this? What's the truth underlying all these different cultures, et cetera, and the ancient mysteries? And that to me is really juicy. I would say it can bring us out of our box, out of our little locale here in Lakewood, Colorado. But it can also bring us profoundly inward. For me, it's been, no matter how many journeys I've on, they've also brought me out, but deeply inward. There's a sense of wanting to know who we are, each of us individually. Who am I? And so we go out into the world to discover that. And yet sometimes when we are out on a sacred journey with our eyes open in a new way, we discover our center, our authentic self. And that centeredness brings us to stillness. And we can take that anywhere. How great at this time in history, with everything going on in the government, everything going on with our works and businesses and family lives, to have that true sense of center. So no matter where we are in the world or where we are in our lives, we have that with us.
Mm-hmm. And it brings me back to access. We can
see how we work together.
We can access that. It's metaphorically like opening this door to a part of you, to an experience of you, to an expression of you. And you can gain that access really by just changing your location and profoundly being there. So that's what's exciting about sacred travel for us anyway.
Absolutely. And I just want my volumes there. I'm having a little sound issue. But I just wanted to pick, hopefully you guys can hear me. But I just little sound issue. Be patient, everyone. I just want to say hello to the folks who are still popping up on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. If you're just joining in, for those of you who are, I'm here with John and Julianne, and you can see them sitting there waving. And we're talking about sacred journeys and travels and the power of sacred journeying. Because as John and Julianne were just talking about, going to some of these magical places, especially some of these that have a lot of ancient history. And I want to now talk about Egypt, because this is our upcoming journey. I'm returning to Egypt for the second time, and I'm beyond excited to actually be able to bring people to come to experience this amazing transformational experience. So I do see some people in the comments talking about having been to Mexico and Peru. So some folks know what we're talking about there. But if you also have questions, everybody, about sacred journeys, just don't be afraid to pop it up in the comments section. We'll try to answer them for you as well if you have any curiosity here. But we do have a journey to Egypt this October, and I'm really excited that John and Julianne are joining me because I love their work and their healing presence that they can bring to this journey for the folks that we're going to be bringing with us. But I want to talk really quickly about what Egypt has done for me, because I went in 2010, right before the revolution in Egypt happened, and it revolutionized my life. It revolutionized my whole being, my whole essence. Egypt to me speaks to the energy of heart and home. And when you arrive in Egypt, one of the first things they often say to you is welcome home, welcome back. Because in Egypt, they believe that that is really the center of where a lot of our spiritual, beingness began. And as we're talking about, there's a lot of mysteries there. You have the pyramids, you have the Sphinx. We're going to go see these amazing places along with the Nile. And so I wanted to share a little bit with what is calling you guys, John and Julianne, to Egypt in your heart space as we're getting ready for this journey. Is there anything that you feel that is coming up that you want to share about the work that we may be doing with the group there?
Sure. The work in Egypt. We're talking about that. You're breaking up a little bit, so I wanted to make sure that I was answering your question and not going off on a tangent here.
So it's just really, about the work in Egypt, and is anything there that you feel, the alchemical process, the mysteries of Egypt that you guys are being drawn to when I asked you to come with me?
Yeah, sure. Well, for me, I think Egypt is one of the most fascinating civilizations in the world. And someone did pop up a little comment, how I dealt with the physical issues, actually, I'm going to just answer that quickly, with intention and with preparation. So start looking online and find out what works for people. Know what works for yourself. And Karen's popped up a little comment there. Yeah, with intention. The first thing that I was working with was my intention to be able to physically tolerate it. And I think that got me through it a lot better than I might have had I not done that. I mean, traveling to India for the first time is kind of a little bit difficult on the body because our bodies are used to being here in the United States where things are very clean, and it's not necessarily the case there. But there's lots of ways you can do it. You can, maybe we can address this at another time and go deeper into that. But I would say, know your body, talk to people that have been, and prepare and set your intention that you're going to be fine, because you will be fine. Eventually, I'm fine. I mean, it happens. What we go through, we go through.
And if I could just,
oh,
go ahead, John.
No, I was going to jump into Egypt again. How's that? Well,
if we can, while we're on Karen's comment, if I can also just add about Egypt in specific, I think, you'll find that Egypt is a rather physically easy country to get around, and we've got a really well set journey for all of you. So you'll find that you're going to be well cared for. We'll be taking care of you, and Egypt itself is a rather physically easy country. So if it's moving about the country itself, I think you'll find it to be rather easy and safe. But yes, if you have any other issues, definitely what John said as well in terms of prepping can help move through those travel concerns. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, great. That's actually a really good point to make. I've read a lot about Egypt, and that it's a very easy place to travel, and the food is good there, and
Mediterranean diet.
Wonderful. Well, as I started to say about Egypt, I think Egypt is one of the most fascinating civilizations on this planet. It's an ancient civilization. It's probably in my research of Egypt over the years. I've been always drawn to the Great Pyramid at Giza. And it turns out that's one of the 7 wonders of the world. And some say it's probably the only one that's still standing. A lot of my training was in engineering. And there was a period of my life where I was really fascinated by the fact that this pyramid is so big and so precise that we don't even know how to build it today, let alone how they built it, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago when it was built. It's very large. It's very precise. Not only precise in the way it was built, but precise in the way it was actually placed on the planet. So for me, this is fascinating, and it speaks of access, right? They had access to something that we don't understand now, and even in this current state, how they possibly could have done it. And so for me, going to Egypt is like going back in time to a place of infinite possibility, right? Right now, we say, oh, we can't do it because we don't know how, it hasn't been written. But they didn't have that same limitation. They said, we're going to do this. And they had a way to do it, whether they thought through it, whether they meditated through it, who knows? We don't really know what happened. But for me, it's like going back to this place on this planet to another time. I really believe that when we go to these places, we're experiencing every moment that ever existed there, because it's there in that location. The power of that possibility is in that location. The power of that technology is in that location. And we're all going to be able to touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it, lay on it, play in it, all those good things. And it's a place where what was thought to be impossible became possible, right? The ultimate access. Let's just open this door to the possibility that we can build this tremendous pyramid precisely aligned with the rivers, with the heavens, to be something that no one will understand thousands of years from now, but that'll be our little joke, right? So I don't know, I've been dreaming into what it could mean for me, and I've been dreaming into what it could mean for everyone that comes on this trip, to step into this place where the impossible suddenly becomes possible. Where's that place in you that you think it's impossible? It could suddenly become possible when you have access to something. And Egypt, for me, is that ultimate access to the possible. It's there. It's waiting for me. It's waiting for you. And it's waiting for anybody that chooses to go there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think I've been drawn to Egypt for a very long time. I would say, Lauren, I think you and I, like our whole life, we've been drawn, I would say. I remember a long time ago reading a quote that said that when you journey to Egypt, the sleeper awakens. And so it's like having that dream self gently tapping you on the shoulder saying, it's time. And so I go, even in that quote, what does it make possible? What does it give us access to? if the sleeper in each of us awakens fully present. So that excites me, more than I can explain here on Facebook, but I'm trying. Here we are, Facebook Live. The other thing that I would say, we've seen a few people pop up that journeyed with us to Mexico. For me, I've been journeying to Mexico and playing with those pyramids for the last 7 years. And every time we're there, and especially this last trip, Lauren, that you were on too, it seems like the connection, or our awareness to the connection between the pyramids of Teotihuacan, the Sun and Moon Pyramid, and the pyramids in Egypt gets stronger and stronger, so much so that without us saying anything, the participants on that trip were noticing. Mm-hmm. And so I go, this really seems like the next step. And when we were actually on that trip is when we were planning the trip for Egypt. So for me, myself, there's a big connection there, and I'm excited about it. For some of you out there, it may be just an unexplainable connection. There's just this pull there, this desire that you've always wanted to go, and you don't know why. So I'll give an example from my own life of how I've seen this play out. My mom once told me the story about how she was visiting a museum, and she was seeing some Egyptian antiquities. And so she was standing in this room full of mummies. She was standing at the feet of one of the mummies, and the wrappings on the feet were undone. And in that moment, she saw the feet. She was transported to another time and place, and she can see this man's feet on the white travertine marble in Egypt, and could see her feet right next to them. And in that moment, I heard the story. It's like, the tear trickles down the cheek, and it's as though I could see the whole thing playing out. I cannot explain why. There's certain times where you just feel a connection, and it's as though I'm physically here right now, but viscerally, I could also feel myself there. Mm-hmm. There are other places, like when you look at our itinerary, please go to our websites and look at the itinerary and see what speaks to you. Like one of the places for me is the Temple of Hathor. And Lauren, I don't even know if you know this, but I've always felt this deep connection to Hathor. And so when we were planning the itinerary, you said, I just can't imagine going to Egypt with Julianne and not going to Dendara and going to this Temple of Hathor. For me, when somebody started to explain the temple, I get giddy. And there's just this overwhelming sense of joy there. And I can picture being there in a nanosecond. And so what places in our itinerary speak to you that for beyond what you can explain here on Facebook Live, do you just feel called to? So those doorways, each one of these sacred locations is a portal into another aspect of ourselves. So please join us.
Absolutely. And yeah, we'll put some information in the comments section for you all. And we do have a call that I'll also share with you guys for anyone who may be interested in learning a little bit more about the journey and itinerary itself. But just to give you all here on Facebook a little taste of what we're going to do in Egypt, know that we're going to be definitely seeing the pyramids and the Sphinx, and we're going to be visiting many, many temples to the gods and goddesses, including Osiris. Oh, excuse me, that shouldn't be going off. Including Osiris, Horus, Isis, Hathor, as we're talking about a Dendara, all kinds of amazing, gorgeous places in Egypt. We're going to be on the Nile for a few days on this gorgeous yacht. Wow. Where you're going to be able to basically meditate and enjoy the journey. And we know that, for you, this can be a life transforming experience. My personal favorite when I went there last time is the goddess Sekhmet at Karnak, and we'll be visiting there, the Valley of the Kings and Hatshepsut's temple. And what I love the most is our guide, Emil, is one of the most sought after guides in Egypt. And he's going to be with us every day of the journey, also giving us a lot of the historical history behind everything that's going on in this amazing country. And it's truly a life transforming place. I know when I knew Julianne, and she remembers when I went in 2010 and I came back and I'm like, I'm ready to start a whole new life. And it literally has never been the same journey ever since. I let go of all the work that I had been doing and started the work of the medium full time, and have been 100% supported by spirit and the love and the magic that is there. So we hope that you guys are going to consider taking the journey with us. And you can find out more at laurenrainbow.com. And John and Julianne, how can we find out more about you guys?
Well, just go to profoundlifewellness.com and you'll be on our website and you'll find out lots about us.
Absolutely. And feel free to send us an email. We're happy to get on the phone with you, talk, about concerns or your excitement, answer any questions. We're available for you.
Absolutely. And I just want to thank everybody who's joining us here on Facebook Live. Hello, hello. I saw a lot of hellos come up, and, we're so grateful that you took a few minutes with us today. And just check back in the comment section, just a few minutes. I'll upload information about the site and a full call in which John and Julianne and I do go into great detail about every day of the journey, as well as the alchemical healing process. We have only 3 spots left for this amazing journey. And we have a nice small intimate group. This is not a very large group. We have a nice small intimate group that's going to be journeying through Egypt, and we're hoping that maybe one of you will want to join us. We're also available for questions, either here if you want to ask on Facebook Live on the comment section after, or by our contact pages, again, at laurenrainbow.com and profoundlifewellness.com. John, Julianne, I want to thank you guys for taking a few moments with me and introducing yourselves to the audience here. And everybody, these are some amazing people to check out. So also just check out their work at Profound Life Wellness, because I've worked with John and Julianne for years, and I know Julianne and I go way back, and she has been a great teacher to me in so many ways. And I feel so blessed to be able to share their energy with you guys today. Thank you, everyone.
Yay. To us. Yay.
We're wishing you well, and we'll check back with comments and answer your questions.
Blessings to all of you.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Bye for now. We'll see you in Egypt.
Right? Yeah.